Floss Tube friends, I hope you're having a lovely weekend. Today is Bank Holiday Monday. The sun is out. I will have to apologise for my attire today and the way I look, but this is a bank holiday day, so I'm spending the entire day sitting indoors, chilling, not doing anything. But I have news for you. It's exciting news. So from my last video, for those that have seen it, you will know that I was working on a Heaven and Earth Design Faces project as my first ever project for cross stitch. She's done. I'm so pleased, so pleased with how she's turned out. She looks amazing. Well, I think she looks amazing for my first ever finish, and the fact that she's such a big project. So here she is, at last. She is done. She's finally done and finished, ready to go to the framers. See, and there's my swan. At last, the swan. The swan took forever. I can't believe how long she took. I mean, it was just, I know that you say the best bit till last, but really, I mean, it just went on and on and on. So I actually finished out on the 1st of May. And I think I started this project on, I think it was between the 2nd and the 5th of January. So 5 months. I don't think that's bad going for a newbie cross stitcher. Thoroughly enjoyed doing her, but really pleased to have got her finished. It started to sort of get a bit difficult towards the end to keep the focus and keep her going without sort of veering off onto another project. Thank you so much for your support and for all your help in getting me through my first, what I call major finish, and for all showing such a lovely interest in her. But the swan, I'm so excited about my swan. My swan, she's here, she's done. And it looks so good. I mean, you don't realise it, you know, when you look at it on a picture and then you actually see it in true life on a cross stitch pattern. It's just like, wow. And it is, I mean, well, it was a, I don't know, sort of stitch intensive. There was lots of colour changes, and so she did take a little bit longer. So each day I was thinking, I think it's today it's going to be finished. And then I get to the end of the day and it's, oh, it's not today. But yeah, so, but at last she's done. So I can't wait now till tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to ring the framers, find out when I can go see him and get her down to the framers and get her in for framing. So, but yes, I'm so happy that she's done and finished. So, so yeah, it's all good stuff. The biscani. Now, thank you all from the bottom of my heart for everyone's comments, your support. You know, you know, everyone's giving me a different bit of advice. For some people, they've sort of said, you know, when it's not going well, just put it away. You know, if it's not working and it's no longer fun, don't do it. Then there's other people where I, you know, because it was my decision where I was saying, no, I'm not going to let it win. I'm not going to let it beat me. Do you know what? I think I might sort of beat me for now. So, explanation. Obviously, for those that haven't already seen it, the biscani that I ordered, that was a lot more complicated than I actually imagined, started and we got to here. So, and actually there's some further, I did actually put some beads on it to see whether that helped with anything. So this is with beads on as well. It hasn't helped. So yeah, I mean, as you can see, I put her on a little, or I put it on a little manelium frame. As soon as Faces was finished, I put this on here thinking, right, okay, well, this will force me to do it. Do you know what? It's just sat on the stand. I mean, even last night it was all ready. You know, needle was in, all ready to do a bit more beading. I didn't touch it. That sort of spoke to me a little bit. That sort of told me. And you know, I was sort of commenting on some of my comments on YouTube. And I sort of said to people on there, do you know what, I'm going to sleep on it. I'm not sure that I can bring myself to do it. If it was going to happen, the urge would be there, and it's just not. There's no urge to do this at all right now. And then Copy Stitcher, love him, basically turned around and said that, you know, he's considering doing a biscanu project later in the year, and that maybe we could get together and get in on that and do it like a bit of a stitch along, so that we sort of help each other out. And I think Letitia is interested in joining in as well. So do you know what, Coffee Stitcher, I think I'm going to take you up on your offer. I think the Biscano that I've got here, I don't know whether to bin it or just put it away. The fact that it's not 100% right to start with makes me think just bin it. You know, because that way I won't feel like I'm picking up something that's sort of been eating away at me for so long anyway. So I think I might bin this one and then just do it like a bit of a stitch along with Coffee Stitcher and Letitia and anyone else that wants to join in on a Biscano stitch along later on in the year. So yeah, I'm done with this. I'm so done with that. The fact that it sat on a frame for sort of 2 days and it hasn't enticed me to do anything with it tells me a lot. So it's not fun, so I'm not doing it, and I'll do it like a stitch along with someone else later on in the year after I've done a few more projects, maybe a bit more experience then. So yeah, so I'm sorry for all those that were sort of saying don't worry, you know, it'll all come together. I know it sounds like I'm giving up and failing, but I don't consider it giving up or failing. I consider it being put to one side for now. So yeah, so no, definitely not doing the Biscano now. I will do it later on in the year and do it with others, and maybe, you know, I can have a little bit more support for how you do it, because it's just, I just don't seem to be getting it, and every time I touched it, it went wrong. So I'm done with the whole, it's not fun. That's not fun right now. So I'm not doing that. So I want fun. So based on that, now what to do? I mean, I'm like stitchless. I've got nothing to do. So it's my brother's getting married later on in the year, and he doesn't know that I do cross stitch or stitching, and I thought I would do a nice little sampler for him. Only trouble was, because of the type of people that they are, I needed something that was quite modern, and not like what I would consider to be your traditional sampler. So I went on Etsy after trawling through So and So and all these other like big internet companies that do cross stitch. They all were a bit sampler like. They were all a bit sort of more on the traditional side. And then when I went on Etsy, they had some really, really modern looking stuff on there. So I picked one. It's called Mr. and Mrs. By Stitch Rovia. I don't know how you say it. But it basically was a download. So this is a picture of the pattern, or the design. And this is who it's by on Etsy. And it was actually really quite a decent deal. So I think I paid £7 for the design, and you get like a PDF that you can use for your iPad, or if you're an online type person, if you like to do it via a tablet or your phone or your laptop. But it also comes with the printable version for those that like a copy, a paper copy, and it actually comes with a coloured chart. The only thing I'd say though is my idea is, I'm not sure I'm 100% happy with the colours on there. So my thought was, and I've never tried this, but I know some of you do this, my thought was basically change out some of the colours. Obviously I do know what the colours are for the wedding, what colour scheme, theme they're going for. So what I was considering doing is actually sort of changing all the colours up so that it was in line with their wedding theme, so that this will match the colours. And then where there's some little flowers and bits and pieces and some detail around the outside, I was thinking about putting some beads, matching coloured beads in. Because obviously I've got beads and I've got lots of different colour beads, but I thought that would be quite nice so that I can get to put some of the beads on and give it a little bit of a different look. I mean, I've not really done much with beads apart from obviously the disastrous Biscano, but obviously now that I've got an idea of how it works, and this is done on a 14 or 16 count Ada. So if I was thinking, if I go with a 14 or a 16 count Ada, then it's a lot easier to put beads on anyway than like having to worry about 4 holes. It's literally, you just go straight in. So yeah, so that's a definite, that's going to be happening. So the idea is this week I'll go to a local store and pick up some floss, because it doesn't have that many colours. I think it's only got 1, 2, 3, 4, it's 5 colours. And I mean, my local place is like 90p a skein, which it is sort of expensive when you look at it like that. But anywhere else that I get it from, you have to pay like a postage and packing fee on top of like whatever the skein is. And for the fact that there's only a couple of colours in there, I might as well just go to Hobbycraft and go and get the skeins. So yeah, so that's a definite. So then I was thinking about what else am I going to do. I mean, I did actually download the Save the Stitches on my GoodNotes app, but then I was watching everybody else doing it, and they were all sort of saying, you know, it's, you know, I think Stitch Mania, who was it? Stitch in May was saying that anyone could do it, but I think there's a few other people that have done it as well. And I looked at it and I was thinking, well, I've never actually done black work, so I don't know, and it is such a big piece. And then Dee Lover, she, I asked her, because obviously she's currently stitching on it, and I sort of said to her, is it hard to do? And she sort of said, if you're used to doing black work, no. But for someone that hasn't done it, maybe go with a smaller project. So Dee, thank you for giving me the heads up, because otherwise I would have gone and bought all the stuff for it and probably would have failed miserably again. And I think right now I need some easy projects that I'm not going to fail miserably at. I need to feel that I'm learning new stuff and I'm doing new stuff, but without sort of the hassles of when it's all going wrong and you just can't seem to get it. So I'm not going to do Save the Stitches, but she did head me in the right direction for some other black work designs, and sort of, you know, to pick a smaller project and give it a go first and see what I think of that. So that's a definite. So I think I'm definitely going to do that. The other one that I'm definitely doing, which is all kitted up, I'm ready to go. I've got the floss, I've got the fabric, and that is my twisted band sampler, cross stitch only version. I know that there's a lot of people on FlossTube that have done the one with the specialty stitches. I'm not doing specialty stitches, I'm doing your bog standard, easygoing cross stitch. So that's a definite. That. In fact, I think I'm actually going to get that on a frame tonight and make a start on that one. What I wanted help with from you guys is what big design to go with next. Now obviously I've got a few Heaven and Earth designs kitted up. I've got one that I have already started, which makes me think really I should sort of carry on with that, but I don't know. So the one that I've actually already made a start on and put it away to finish my faces is the Fairy Day one, that one. So I could get her back out and make a start on her, but since as I've done a face, do I really want to be doing another face which is just a face like that? Or do I do one of my other, I've got two others that are actually kitted up. I've got a couple of more that I ordered that I've got the charts for but are not kitted. So the ones that I have kitted are the Universe in a Jar by Randall Spangler, which is a Heaven and Earth designs. This is fully kitted. Look, you see I've got my my envelopes with all of my stuff all kitted in there. So that is the Universe in a Jar. Let me get it out so you can see it so it's not glaring at you. So this is the design with the little dragons. So that's that one. Or the other one that I've got ready and kitted is Stormy, which is by Critter Valley. I quite like the look of this one, and the fact that it doesn't seem to have I don't think it has any background, so you only stitch in, you only stitch the owl. And my intentions are this next one, ideally I want to try to do in a 10 stitch on 25 count. I know that a lot of people sort of, you know, do you do 10 stitch on Heaven and Earth designs, or do you do full cross? Well, obviously I've done one on full cross, and you know that one took me 5 months. So, and a lot of people sort of say, well, if you're doing 10 stitch, it's only half the stitching to cover the same amount of distance. So my thought process is, if I do 10 stitch for the same size project, it would have only took me 2.5 months, which is not such a big deal, and it would actually get it finished quicker. But it would be nice to sort of see the difference between one that's done full cross and one that's done in 10 stitch. So the next one ideally wants to be, I want to try to do in 10 stitch. So, but this is Stormy, which I think is so cute. I really like the look of him. It just looks like it's a typical British owl, that one, being blown around. We tend to get so much crappy weather that this is quite apt. So yeah, so I'm thinking this one or the Universe in a Jar. So yeah, what do you guys think? Which one would you pick? Or do I be a good girl and finish what I started and carry on doing full cross on the one that I've already started. But yeah, so that's where we're at. That we're done with one project. We're been in another project, and we're gonna have a couple of new starts. I'm gonna try and do a bit of rotating, because obviously with my brother's wedding sampler thing, plus my twisted band sampler, and then the Heaven and Earth design, I think that would be a good selection of things, so that way I've got one that I've got a designated definite stop date, so I know how long I've got with that. The Heaven and Earth design, that can take as long as it takes, but obviously if I'm doing tent stitch, then I don't have to worry about it being sort of 6 months, a year to finish. And with the twisted band sampler, I think that's just the sort of the one that I fit in between. But yeah, give me your thoughts, let me know what you think, which one you think I should go with on the Heaven and Earth designs, because I just can't pick. I mean, they're all lovely, and they're all lovely in their own way, you know, they're completely in the opposite, they're opposite. So you've got one which is just sort of the owl with branches, which you can put on sort of a lovely fabric, or you've got the Universe in a Jar, which is very much like my Faceless project, which is full coverage, you know, use your magic guide and try try the tent stitch. Considering that it's tent stitch for the first time, I don't know whether it's better to go with a full block design or to go with something like the owl. But again, you know, what do you guys think? The only other thing that I was going to ask as well, along my travels, I found this. It's called a phrase stopper. I'm sure you'll know what this is. I just wanted to check before I actually put it on any fabric. I'm intending to use this not on my bigger projects, because on my bigger projects I'll actually get the sewing machine out and stitch the edges so that I know it's secure and safe. But for some of the littler projects, like the ones that I'm going to put on my Q-snap, or on the tiny little frames that I don't really want to get a massive sewing machine out for, just to sort of whiz around the edges, this phrase stop, do you put it right on the very, very edge, or do you put it slightly in from the edge and then allow it to dry? I don't know how it works, or, you know, does it leave a mark? Do you have to cut it off afterwards, or does it wash out? Or I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, anyone that's got some knowledge for me on the phrase stop, and you know how I can use it, where you can use it, and whether you would need to chop off the end afterwards, or whether it washes out. Because that's the other thing, if I put it on the edge and it's too close, and then I need something to have it framed, it won't be able to be framed because it'll have all this all over it. But yeah, so again, any help with that would be massively appreciated. One final thing that's just sprung to mind. Do I wash my Faces project? I'm a bit worried. I want to take it to the framers, I really do. But then I know that a lot of people say you should always wash your project, like wash the finished project. Now, that's a scary thought, to wash this. Would you want to wash it? I'm not sure about washing it and how to wash it. I mean, I know I looked at some YouTube videos, I think, and someone sort of said, oh, you just put it in some soapy water and just leave it and just sort of give it a little tap every now and then get it out, dry it flat. But what if all the colours run? And what if it all goes wrong? I mean, I know that in some respects it would be nice to wash it, because I know a lot of people said that, like, because she's got a lot of black on her, and it worries me that, you know, that you might be able to see some white through there, which I don't think you can. You can a little bit if you get, you know, while it's stretched on the frame, but when you unstretch it, I don't think you really see too much of that. But what worries me is, I mean, they basically say if you wash it, it fluffs the floss back up and sort of shrinks down the fabric a little bit, so it basically gets rid of all the, you know, so whereas maybe you look like you can, you know, the stitching is maybe a little bit finer or thinner than you would have liked, it actually pulls it tighter, which makes it a little easier to see, and to make it so that you don't see the white through the back. But I'm so frightened to wash her. I keep thinking, well, maybe no, don't wash her, don't do anything with her. But I don't know. This is, again, something that I need some help with from you guys. I mean, I know that obviously on Magic Count, obviously I've still got the lines on the fabric. I don't know how much you can see. Here's my Magic Count. And that bit is a little bit dirty, but obviously my thought process on it is, well, you're not going to see any of that because that'll be in the frame, and the only bit you're going to see is the actual stitching on this project. But yeah, do you wash or don't you wash? That's another question. But any advice, tips, anyone that's washed it and had a disaster, please let me know. Anyone that's washed it and hasn't had a disaster, then I'd love to hear that. And anyone that's not really done it but has a specific thought of how, what, and whether you should or shouldn't, I'm really interested to know. So yeah, so that's it, we're done. Thank you ever so much for listening to me waffle, as usual, and for all the support and from the help that I've had. I mean, the floss tube community is so amazing, because it's like I've got virtual friends. I mean, like anyone that has already watched videos knows, I'm a newbie stitcher. I don't know anyone that stitches or embroiders. I've got no one that I can actually get knowledge from or that can help me when something's going wrong and you just can't get your head around it to actually show me how to do it. The only people that I've got is my floss tube friends, which is you guys. Amazing community of people. From the experts, the pro stitchers, to the ones that have, only done it for a few years. They've got so much knowledge, but they're so friendly. So friendly, so helpful to help you through for someone like me. So for anyone out there that is new to cross stitching or has just stumbled over this video and listened to me waffle for the last sort of 15-20 minutes, floss tube, watch it. Watch everyone's videos, not just the tutorials, because that's one thing I've learned. The tutorials are good for the techniques and bits and pieces, but when you're watching people that have, gone through, a stitching and they're giving you like whip updates and hauls and stashes, I have gained so much knowledge about the things, the objects, the techniques, the ideas, how you use stuff and how other people found something. All that comes from all those other videos where people are just giving you an update on what they've been doing. So you guys with your whips, your hauls, your stashes, all those videos are so helpful, although you think you're probably just sitting there giving everyone an overview of how further on you've come. For someone like me, it's been super helpful because, it's like, if no one had said, oh, I use this Krennic and I didn't really like that, so I switched it out for this, and then they tell you why and the reasons why they prefer one to another, that basically enlightened me to, well, what was Krennic? So at that point, you start Googling. And then obviously you listen to what people's advices or their experiences are. So floss tube community is amazing. And on that note, I'm off. See you later. Have a good one, everyone.